For years, the Chengdu J-10 Vigorous Dragon was dismissed as a second-rate derivative fighter, China's flashy but unproven answer to Western jets. Aviation circles often mocked its design, calling it a patchwork of borrowed technology and unoriginal engineering. Despite its aggressive name and sleek appearance, the J-10 was rarely taken seriously outside China, with many experts doubting it could ever match the performance of its Western or Russian counterparts. Early J-10s struggled with unreliable engines and untested avionics, forcing China to rely on Russian power plants and fueling doubts about its true capabilities. The aircraft's teething problems were well known, and each technical setback seemed to reinforce the perception that China was still years behind in fighter technology. Engineers worked tirelessly to address these issues, but skepticism persisted. The J-10's lack of export success and real combat experience only deepened skepticism. It was seen as a gamble, not a proven asset. Defense expos showcased the jet, but buyers remained unconvinced, wary of investing in an untested platform. The J-10 became a symbol of China's ambitions, but also its limitations. Even the advanced J-10C, with its AESA radar and modern missiles, was considered a paper tiger, impressive at air shows but untested in real combat. Spectacular aerial displays wowed crowds, but critics argued that true capability could only be proven in the chaos of battle, not in choreographed performances. Western and Asian buyers stuck with proven platforms like the F-16 or Su-30, leaving the J-10C's reputation in limbo. Procurement officials preferred reliability over novelty, and the Vigorous Dragon remained largely a domestic showpiece, its export potential unrealized. By early 2025, the world still wondered, could the Vigorous Dragon actually fight, or was it just for show? Military analysts debated its merits on television, while online forums buzzed with speculation. The question lingered. Was the J-10C a genuine threat, or simply a well-marketed illusion? That answer would come in May 2025, when the skies over Kashmir became the ultimate proving ground. Tensions in the region escalated, drawing the world's attention to a potential flashpoint where reputations would be made or broken. The J-10C was about to face its moment of truth. Pilots prepared for a mission that would not only test their skills, but also the very legacy of the aircraft they flew. The world watched, waiting to see if the Dragon finally had teeth. Newsrooms buzzed with anticipation, and military strategists braced for the outcome that could reshape perceptions of Chinese air power. The stage was set for a dramatic reckoning, as the fate of the Vigorous Dragon, and perhaps the future of aerial warfare in Asia, hung in the balance. In the spring of 2025, a devastating terror attack in Kashmir shattered a fragile ceasefire, reigniting the long-standing conflict between India and Pakistan. The region, already tense from decades of disputes, was suddenly thrust back into the global spotlight as violence erupted once again. India responded swiftly and decisively with Operation Sindoor, a series of deep penetration airstrikes using its prized Rafale fighters and Mirage 2000s. These advanced jets, equipped with cutting-edge avionics and weaponry, marked a new era of high-tech warfare in South Asia, sending a clear message of deterrence and capability. Pakistan, unwilling to back down, scrambled its own jets, including the newly acquired J-10Cs. These state-of-the-art fighters, recently added to Pakistan's arsenal, were launched to intercept the Indian strike package and mount a swift retaliation, escalating the conflict to new heights. This was no mere border skirmish. It quickly evolved into a full-scale aerial showdown. Both sides fielded their most advanced fighters and missiles, pushing the limits of technology and tactics in the skies above Kashmir. For India, the conflict was a crucial test of its Western-supplied hardware and pilot training. For Pakistan, it was a rare opportunity to showcase its growing partnership with China and the capabilities of its new Chinese-built jets. The J-10C, specifically acquired to counter India's Rafales, was thrust into the heart of the action. Pakistani pilots, eager to prove their mettle, took to the skies in these jets, determined to match India's technological edge. The first days of the conflict were chaotic, with a blur of dogfight claims, denials and propaganda flooding the media from both sides. Conflicting reports and dramatic footage dominated headlines, fueling uncertainty and tension. Yet beneath the fog of war, the real-world performance of the J-10C began to emerge. Analysts and military experts watched closely, eager to see how the jet would fare in actual combat conditions against India's best. The world's eyes were fixed on Kashmir, where the future of air combat was being rewritten in real time. Every move was scrutinized by international media, military strategists, and anxious citizens alike. In this high-stakes confrontation, the outcome would not only shape the region's future, but also redefine the balance of power in the skies. As Indian jets crossed the line of control, Pakistan's J-10C squadrons took to the skies, armed with ASA radars and long-range PL-15 missiles. The J-10C's beyond visual range capabilities allowed Pakistani pilots to engage Indian formations before they could strike back. Pakistani officials soon claimed the downing of multiple Indian aircraft, including 3 Rafales and a Mirage 2000, sending shockwaves through the defense world. The Rafale, long considered a top-tier fighter, had never been shot down in combat until now. The J-10C, once mocked as a copycat, had drawn first blood. India denied the losses, but the sudden halt in its air operations fueled speculation. The world demanded proof. Was the J-10C truly a match for the West's best? The answer would soon be revealed by independent sources. The Dragon's reputation was on the line. In the digital age, the truth is hard to hide. Journalists and analysts use satellite imagery and on-the-ground reporting to verify the aftermath of the Kashmir dogfights. Wreckage from at least 2 downed Indian jets, a Mirage 2000 and crucially, a Rafale, was photographed and identified in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Satellite data and flight tracking confirmed the disappearance of Indian aircraft over the conflict zone, matching Pakistani claims. While not every claim was verified, the loss of a Rafale to a J-10C was undeniable and unprecedented. The Indian government's denials crumbled under the weight of independent evidence. For the first time, a Chinese fighter had bested a premier Western jet in real combat. The J-10C was no longer just a parade piece, it was a proven killer. The world took notice. The J-10C's victory over the Rafale sent shockwaves through the global defense community, upending long-held beliefs about the balance of power in the skies. Suddenly, the world was forced to pay attention to a fighter jet that many had previously dismissed as a mere imitation. Years of ridicule and skepticism vanished overnight, replaced by a new era of serious analysis and cautious respect for Chinese fighter technology. Defense experts who once scoffed at China's ambitions now pored over every detail of the J-10C's design, performance, and combat record. On Chinese social media, the win was celebrated as undeniable proof of national strength and technological progress. Meanwhile, in the West, the upset sparked urgent debates about the J-10C's advanced radar, missile systems, and innovative tactics, with experts questioning if their own air forces could keep up. For Taiwan and other regional rivals, the psychological impact was immediate and profound. China's jets were now proven threats, not just parade attractions or propaganda tools. The region's military planners scrambled to reassess their strategies. The J-10C's success forced militaries worldwide to rethink their assumptions about Chinese hardware, prompting urgent reviews of Air Force capabilities and procurement plans. No longer dismissed as cheap copies, Chinese fighters now demanded respect and caution. Defense industry insiders began to acknowledge the rapid pace of China's technological advancements. The balance of power in Asia had shifted, and the world's arms buyers took note. Nations seeking to modernize their air forces now looked to China as a serious contender in the global arms market. The J-10C's combat record became China's most powerful marketing tool, drawing interest from countries eager to acquire cutting-edge technology at competitive prices. The era of Western air dominance was officially over. The Dragon had arrived, and the world would never look at Chinese air power the same way again. The J-10C's combat debut didn't just change perceptions, it upended the global fighter jet market. For decades, buyers chose between expensive Western jets or sanctioned Russian models. China's offerings were seen as risky. Now the J-10C was a proven, affordable alternative, especially attractive to nations in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. China's lack of political strings and competitive pricing made the J-10C a game-changer. The Kashmir conflict gave China the combat validation it needed to break into the top tier. Interest surged from countries seeking modern air power without Western or Russian entanglements. Western manufacturers faced new competition, and prices began to fall. The Rafale's defeat was a blow to European prestige and a boost for Chinese exports. The J-10C had disrupted the arms market, forcing everyone to adapt. The Dragon was now a contender on the world stage. The J-10C's triumph was clear, but the conflict exposed China's military weaknesses too. Pakistan's Chinese-supplied HQ-9 air defense system failed to stop India's Scalp cruise missiles, revealing gaps in China's integrated air defense. Indian drones also penetrated Pakistani defenses, blinding radar networks and opening corridors for strikes. The mixed results showed that while China can build world-class fighters, its air defense and counter-drone capabilities lag behind. Modern warfare demands seamless integration. Fighters alone aren't enough. For China and its clients, the lesson was clear: advanced jets are vital but not a silver bullet. The J-10C's success was real, but so were the vulnerabilities. The future would demand more than just a dragon in the sky. The May 2025 conflict marked a turning point in global military history. China's J-10C had shattered the myth of Western air superiority, boosting Beijing's prestige and arms sales. For Pakistan, the J-10C was a strategic equalizer, but the war also exposed the limits of Chinese-supplied defenses. Internationally, the J-10C's success signaled a new multipolar arms market. Nations now had a credible alternative to Western hardware. The US-brokered ceasefire showed that China's diplomatic influence still lagged behind its military advances. The world's security landscape had changed. Western dominance was no longer guaranteed. The J-10C's journey, from copycat to combat-proven killer, mirrored China's rise as a global power. The dragon's roar was now a reality, forcing strategists everywhere to rethink the future. The age of the vigorous dragon had begun.